internet access in Northern at the moment is very limited or very sporadic. We've also had a power outage, so all of Northern has no electricity at the moment, and and it seems like our internet's down as well. Well, not down, but it goes out. Anyway, so if this just shuts out suddenly, that's the reason why. But the reason why I decided to do this live now is because I've been so busy, and the last few days I've been wanting to do a live on, or a discussion, whatever you want to call these, on a share on self-love. And I've got all these Bible verses lined up that me and some friends have been reading and studying around this very topic. So it's around the topic of living in love, not fear. And all the scriptures, well, there's so many, not all the scriptures, but we've been looking at some of the scriptures that we've been able to find or discover, or not discover. Well, all right, whatever. I'm not going to get into details about that. Anyway, some of the people have done some research, sent me some links, and then I've just been able to read the chapters of what they've sent me, and together we've read some chapters. So one of these women's a chaplain, so she knows the Bible so well. Other people have been reading it their whole life, so I don't know if they did much research to get these chapters, but we had this certain theme, and we've been looking at all these different themes, and it's just such an exciting topic, and the Bible is full of support of how to get into and stay into that place of self-love, because that is actually the place. If we're not in a place of self-love and we're not in that stance of love, we're actually causing suffering for God. When we cause suffering for ourselves, or we're not allowing ourselves to see how lovable, loving and worthy we are, that actually pains God so much. Like a loving parent of a child, when your child is suffering, we suffer alongside our child. That's exactly, well, more so what it's like for God, because God's bigger than what we could ever imagine. Impossible to imagine God. I still think of God as like an energy. So years and years and years ago, when I wasn't a Christian, but I had a relationship with God. Oh, sorry, I've got something in my teeth. Hang on. I just had a really late breakfast, like 3:30 or something. I'll go to that afterwards about that. I only just got out of bed not long ago. I've rested all of today. My body needed so much rest, and that's why this topic is about self-love, because I made that conscious decision there is so much I can do, so much I have to do. But I'll go to that later. I don't want to lose my track of thought, which I sort of think I already have. Oh, good Lord. We've been discussing this topic of when I was my early days of having a really amazing relationship with God, but it wasn't defined within the parameter of being a Christian. And because of that, I wasn't reading the Bible, I wasn't talking to Christian people, I wasn't going to church, and I believe I really missed out. I believe if I'd really taken it to that next level, it would have really have supported my journey, like, unbelievably. Like, I can't regret it, because you can't go back and change anything. However, this relationship that I had with God, I knew God was love. And I knew the chi energy, the energy that's in all living things. There's a molecule. I've spoken about this once before. It's a really long word. Dimethylide something or other. I can research it. It's on the internet. Dog's nearly ran over me. Oh gosh, they're just going manic. Okay, so basically that atom, that molecule in all living things is called the God molecule. It's called the God molecule because anything that actually has life, any animal, plants, human, anything that has life has this particular molecule in it, and anything that doesn't have life doesn't have that molecule in it. So it's called the God molecule. Wow, That's a big kangaroo. Check this out. I'm pretty sure that's a kangaroo. I don't know if you can see it. Anyways, some big kangaroos around here. Anyways, darling little Albany. So basically, I already knew that God was love and God is love. So any religion that spouts God being a vengeful, God has a righteous anger, yes, but God is not an angry God, an unloving God. God does not want us suffering. So all those people that talk about if you sin, you go. There's a lot of religions out there that do a lot of damage, and they actually say the opposite to what was actually in the Bible and what God wants us to know. So that's the tragedy of religion, and it's one of the reasons why I was dead against religion for so long, because there's so many bad religions out there and bad people within the religions. There's a lot of, you can call them false Christians, false Catholics, false Buddhists or whatever. People who are living a certain life, trying to pretend they're a certain thing. They've got this certain image and they think they're so amazing because they go to church every Saturday or Sunday or whatever, or they go to the whatever, and that's called piety, pietism, piety, whatever. So what actually happens is there's certain people that do things to look a certain way, thinking that will give them a tick in God's eyes. No, it won't. It doesn't. What God wants is for you to love yourself. If you do not love yourself, you're not going to heaven. It's as simple as that. It's got to get to that point of salvation where you accept you're worthy of God's love. You know you're a child of God. I mean, for the Buddhists and everything like that, over time, as this channel develops, we can work out the language to bring all the different, I can't remember what they're called, denominations or whatever they're called. They're in the water. I'll show you. I was just turned around. I have to turn around without. Oh, she's already gotten out. We had a lot of rain. All day it's been raining, and so the river's gotten a bit full again. And she jumped in the water and nearly got swept down the river. I was like, oh. So I thought I'd better turn the camera around so I could see her, because I had to watch her, not look at the camera. But she's pretty strong. I think she'll... but that river's got a stronger... I don't know if you can see my finger. That river's got a stronger flow than what it looks. I might just show the animals for a while. They're such a joy to watch. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so anyways, so I already knew that God was love. God is love. And for us to have God in us, we need to love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, we are godly. I mean, that's the simplest way of saying it. And in the future, we'll go into all the other different denominations or whatever it's called and bring it all together. I've got all these very learned friends, people in my life, so over time, who have loved the fact I've got this YouTube channel, and really keen to, I'm going to in the future start having interviews with different people who have different services to offer, different information to provide. So that's really exciting. That's all happening, because I've now been granted my interview privileges on YouTube. My numbers haven't been going up, and I know that why, because I've been barely putting anything up on Facebook, and also, YouTube. Haven't been doing any shorts, and YouTube doesn't, even YouTube channels that have 1.5 or 2.3. There's a person who had something like 2.5 million subscribers, and he came down the algorithm, and YouTube wasn't promoting him purely because he didn't have any shorts. The lady was telling me that the other day. She said it's getting really hard to promote yourself on YouTube, because unless you do a short or you play the game. But I said to her, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to focus on selling my channel. The channel at the moment is for me. God asked me to do this for me, and for those who find it and are listening and either getting triggered, like radically triggered, which is part of their healing, and or radically learning something beautifully, like openly aware that they're learning something. And then these people ask me questions like, Mostly it's private. Some of these people are too shy to say it publicly. But having discussions with people, and then someone will say something to me and I go, okay, I'll do a YouTube discussion on that. So rather than just answer it for that one person, I answer it for her or that person and whoever else. I've got a male friend that asks me questions too. So the people that ask me questions and ask me to delve into something, I was like, oh, I'll discuss that in one of my YouTube discussions, and then I'll say to them, oh, and I'll let you know, because there's this thing where you can notify people and do premieres, and there's all these things for me to learn. But I'm not even going to go down that track until my computer's set up, you see, because I'm doing everything right now on my phone. When I've got the computer set up, I know it's going to be very, 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 very different. So I've taken that pressure away. I think I did that, too much dental. I think I did that a couple of months ago, before I got this new phone. This new phone of mine is just brilliant. The old phone was very limited with what it couldn't. Well, sorry, I couldn't even do YouTube lives on that old phone, that's right. Anyways, the thing about different religions and denominations, I'm not dismissing all the different denominations. So just because I'm now a Christian, I'm not dismissing those who have different ethoses. And I noticed there was this lady, sorry, my eye just got itchy. I noticed that this, sorry, I wanted to take my hat off, but I noticed this lady the other day. We were having this really big conversation, and a really long-term friend of mine who, God basically said to her, she's actually traveling around the world at the moment. She's currently in Peru, and she just got this calling to contact me, to reach out to me. Her and a heap of other people on that same day, which was just the best thing I knew that was God answering my prayers, because that's when I was pleading to God. I said, God, help me, please. And then all these people contacted me, and everyone had something different to say of immense value, and also something that they needed to hear from me. And it was wonderful. And one of the things that happened with this conversation with this particular friend of mine, acquaintance / friend, I've known him for a very long time, and we trust each other and admire each other. But when you have a really good long-term acquaintance, but you don't, well, for example, like she came to my husband's and my wedding, okay, and she came to the after party, and she just brought so much wonderful joy. Like she honours. It was quite incredible how many people responded to the invites that were acquaintances. I had a lot of friends that, of course, were invited, but then I invited some really long-term acquaintances that I just had this admiration for, and so many of those acquaintances were like, yeah, of course I'll be there. I'm like, cool. So that then showed me, well, this can be more than just a really good, healthy, happy acquaintanceship. This can develop further. So this particular conversation with this lady, I said to her, I'm really enjoying this blossoming friendship. And she said, so am I. So that's what she and I are blossoming friends. She said to me, when I let her know I am now a Christian, she changed her language for me. She started saying, well, okay, as a Christian, and then she started using certain words. As a Christian, we can say, dark feminine is Mary Magdalene, light masculine is Jesus, because she's been doing all these workshops she's traveling around, but she's currently in Peru doing all these amazing workshops. She does breath work. She does amazing stuff in Perth, and I'm hanging out for her to get back to Perth, because I was always saying I really want to start doing your workshops, and I always had problems with money and petrol getting down there and this and that, rah. But I really know I'm open to all the different modalities that involve really going deep within oneself, because it's through that process of going very deep within oneself and finding out all of who we are as a human that I truly believe, and there's a lot of research that, well, I believe it because I've read it. It's not my thought. It's me believing other people's, won't go down there. But anyways, my viewpoints and many other people's viewpoints, that it's the allying of the shadow and the light. So it's when you go deep within yourself and you do the deep inner work and you find out all of who you are as a human, then we can find out all of who we are not. Then we look at all our conditioning. Then we can actually see, what are we based on what people told us to be, or how we thought we should be, or that's where we're small, that's where we're in fear, that's where we hold ourselves back, that's where we're trying to look a certain way, be a certain way. That's our conditioning. That is not God's plan for us. That is human conditioning. And that is who we are not. That's who we became to fit in to a particular society or a particular group of people or a particular family network. And many of us have grown up in dysfunctional families. Like, count the person who hasn't had trauma in their life or who hasn't had a functional family. I would say no one. No one. Like, apparently God was the only innocent lamb to be slaughtered. So everyone, anyway, we won't go down that track right now, but the track of breath work. I'll just sit down. I'm not sitting down, I'm kneeling because the ground's wet. Look at the animals. They're beautiful, serene. It's a beautiful day. It's been raining all day. It only stopped raining I don't know, like about the rain did stop a couple of hours ago, and then it started. It was really, really, really heavy for a while. Don't you dare. She's going to shake me, I know it. Don't you dare. Oh, good. Well done. So basically, this is a slippery bankment I'm on. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Be careful I don't slip. The journey of going deep and looking at all of who we are, or all of what we think we are, actually, and what we think we've become, allows us to actually go, what resonates, what doesn't resonate. What doesn't resonate is the stuff that's within the fear mode, the I've got to fit in mode, the not being truthful to ourselves. Sorry, this is that yucky area. I just have to be a bit mindful here. Hang on, let me just get through this area. Okay, so that particular journey is called the inner work. It's called the inner child work, or the inner work. You'll hear this language out in the healing world. Inner work means going deep within to looking with a magnifying glass of us, every skerrick of us. That's an excruciating journey. That's when you look at all your fears, or your wounds, or your traumas, anything that you can be aware of, and then you can pray if you're a Christian, or you pray for the courage for more, to have more healing, and then with God's protection, you let more healing come out. I'll give you all one bit of advice, if I may, from my experience and from been hearing it from the chaplain, the pastors at my church, different religious people I've met, hundreds of people that I've met throughout my life. Battery power, 15%. Okay, I have met so many people that have had the same experience as me, and so many people who have witnessed other people having the same experience as me. So from a position of so many people, including mental health nurses in the system, including pastors, including doctors, the list is so huge. And one day when I write one of my books will actually have statements from these people to back up this statement. The mental health system and the medical system creates sickness. It creates sickness, and it creates mental health issues. The current medical mold and the current mental health system actually causes sicknesses and major health issues. It does not heal. It's not made to heal. It's made to make money. It's made to sell pharmaceuticals. It's made to keep people dependent, oppressed, non-empowered. Like, many people have a situation where they'll say something to a doctor and the doctor will dismiss them, and they go through many, many years of horrible situations that could have been fixed many, many years earlier, and then eventually they meet a good doctor, and they're far and few between, because a lot of people become doctors because their parents said you need to be a doctor. It wasn't actually what they wanted to do, because to be a doctor you want to heal. To be a healer means you empower people, even at the risk of losing your job. If the government's trying to force you to do something, it's against healing the person. So that's a big issue in itself. And everyone I talked to about my experience when I was at St. John of God's mental health facility, I still may or may not take that situation to Ombudsman and sue them. I do not know. And the mental health system in Northern. I'm not sure yet whether I'll go down that track, because there's a lot of energy to do that. What I do know is God saw what happened, but what happened was God was saying, don't get your help from that system. That system's of the devil. That system's corrupt. That system's not for people. That's not for my children. It's of the devil. Everything about that system is so demonic. It's none of it's healthy or loving. The things I saw when I was at that facility, there were so many young people who were in their 20s getting electric shock treatment. Electric shock treatment, everyone. And one of them was getting like a half lobotomy. And they had us all drugged out the whole time, so we couldn't even talk to each other. We were so slurred out, so heavily drugged that we couldn't barely walk, we could barely talk. And we'd get like 1 hour, and they would stand around with a group of 3 forcing these drugs down our throats, right? And that's all they did. They didn't do anything to help us out, just force these drugs down our throats. But there was a gap. There was always like a 1 hour, 30-minute or 1 hour break where we could actually have a normal conversation, talk. I couldn't talk. People would ask me questions. I'm like, I couldn't talk. It was actually horrific. And this one girl, I've forgotten her name. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't use her name even if I did remember it. In her early 20s. I was only there for 3 days and she got to share so much just in those 3 lots of 40 minutes. And I already know that they were keeping her drugged and keeping her there because she was very, very pretty. And I know exactly why they were keeping her drugged out and exactly why they were making her not heal. And she was screaming in agony when I was discharged because I was her safety net. And there was a young boy in his early 20s as well, you know, two young boys actually that were being treated. You could tell all they needed was to have connection work. So much they could heal, and you could tell that everything that was happening in those people was to do with lack of connection, or they'd been really badly disrespected. They were just in absolute anguish, just like me. So all these people in anguish, but all that was happening was they were getting drugged. That was it. That's all that was happening. And electric shock treatment and this lobotomy thing that was happening to this one woman. It was quite scary when I realised I was still really old, archaic. And then anyways, I didn't come out. That's a story that I've told you all so many times. I desperately needed help. I should have been there for 2 or 3 weeks, if not a month. I was actually, I was having neuron synapses breakdowns inside my brain. This is what I told the psychiatrist, and he was sneering at me as I was telling him, sneering at me. Absolutely. And I said to him, he was in his mid-20s, I said, do you even care about your job? Do you even care about me? Because you're sneering at me. I'm trying to explain to you what's happening inside my head and you're sneering at me. Like, I don't seem, I just, all I can see from you is contempt. Like, so I won't go into that story right now because of the battery power thing, and also it's not a story I need to go into today. But I will tell you right now, I really needed help. Desperately needed help. And I was begging for help, and I didn't get any. None. And I was scared of it. And that's one of the reasons why I started going to church more, because I knew I needed help. I knew that what was happening in my body, I was having a physiological breakdown. I knew my body was breaking down. I knew my mind was breaking down. I could feel the synapses. The synapses at the end of my neurons were actually going, those yellow flares inside my head, and there was this sound, like there was actually flashes of brilliant yellow flashlights going off, not flashlights, but like electronic. It was actually scary. It was so scary. And I explained this in detail what was going on. It wasn't just that. I couldn't make my hands work. I tried to make my hand do something, and my brain couldn't make my hand work. I was actually having what you probably call a nervous breakdown. I would say you call it a nervous breakdown. Alvin, Zena. And anyways, that is really what turned me to God. Because my sense of self-love was so high. I'm going, where's the help? Where's the help? I need the help. I need to look after myself. I desperately need help. And I'm trying to trust this person, trying to trust that system. I went really off track there. Come on, Zena, Alvin. Sorry. But I'll go back to self-love. Today, way back then there was a lot more I could have done differently. I could have reached out to a lot of people. I could have really reached out to a lot of support, but I was too ashamed. I was too ashamed because I was lacking in self-love. I was too ashamed because I'm thinking, when am I going to be able to heal this trauma in me? Well, we can't. Not without God, we can't. Most of us have so much deep trauma in us that unless we have God helping us, we can't heal it on our own. The system won't help us. Good friends who have a really healthy mentality, and I'm going to use the word godly here. Oh, all right, there's some people down there with some dogs. Zena, Alvin! I have to, I don't know where they've gone. I'm going to probably have to shut this down, even though I was actually enjoying that flow. It's all right, it's just one lady and... Oh, there you are, well done. There they are, see? Woohoo! But stay near, stay near. That's good, there's a lady down there with 2 dogs, so I'll just stay up here so that... Stay near. Anyways, oh gosh, yeah, self-love. I have been learning... I thought it was rainbow for a second. I have been learning self-love. That's been my journey and that's what this whole YouTube channel is about. Like, from my experience of learning self-love, inspiring others to step into their self-love. And I think the biggest thing that we need to let go of with self-love is any feelings of shame about letting people know what we need. So I've had so many people say to me lately, why didn't you tell me it was that bad? Why didn't you tell me, this and this and this and this and this and this? And I literally said, because I was struggling with self-worth. I was struggling with, I should be able to do it on my own. I was struggling with, why is it still happening? How come I haven't been able to heal it yet? Why do I still have trauma in my life? I was struggling with so many different thought processes, which I've shared many a time over in this YouTube channel and my Facebook lives. This whole journey has been documented, and I did it deliberately because God told me to. Do you remember, like, my very first Facebook live? I said I had no idea what to do to get through this particular situation, and I heard, tell the world. I went, tell the world? Like how? Tell the world. Tell the world. And then I got the feeling, oh, Facebook. All right, so I went on Facebook and I did a live, and that particular live was a very intense live that kept me alive. It actually kept me alive. That live kept me alive. And God told me to do that. And then I kept doing that. I thought, well, I can't write at the moment. Like, I can't physically make my hands write. This was back then. So I'll just keep on doing this record, this verbal record. And then when I'm ready and I want to go back and write, when I write my curriculums and my books and manuals and blah, 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 I know all the different things. I'm just trying to find a dry spot to sit here. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, I just thought, don't you dare jump on me. Don't you dare. Oh, get away. She's wet. Go away. Go away. Completely wet. She's shaking now. I don't know if you can see her. Anyways, gosh, so I was keeping a record of everything, and then I let that go, and I thought, you know what, I'll step it up to the YouTube channel. Oh no, that's right, I got encouraged to start the YouTube channel. I had someone say to me, counsellor, who, amazing woman, Monique Song of the Heart, and she basically said, you got to get this message out to the world. I'd love you to get a YouTube channel up and running. The world, there's Alvin, he's not as wet as Zena. And I was like, it's been a mission doing this. And then I went through lots of different, processes of self-doubt and worry and how I'm presenting the content and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then I had to keep going, let it go. It's just, God just wants you to keep talking. It's your voice. Just whatever you say is perfect. I don't get more and more, well, I'm not going to say more and more perfect, but as I've said to you over and over again, like more and more, I don't want to use the word refine, but I have ideas. I have my own ideas of how, with this therapy business that I've been planning for since what was it, 2006? Since 1996, 2006, I can't remember. It was when I was the early days of Margaret River. I can't remember. that's why when I start writing everything down, it's going to be great because, time is just going by. Like, I know my kids were little. I know they were young. I was down in Margaret River, and I know Isaac was a baby, and I've forgotten what his age is now, but I think he's 29. My kids hate I keep forgetting their names, but we've got an odd family, as in we're very authentic, we're very loving and authentic and honest, but we're not traditional per se. And my kids and I have had a very challenging life with a lot of trauma in it. And sometimes birthdays have been a mission to get organised. And I know this is terrible, but I sort of sometimes forget their ages, but I don't even know why that is. I don't even know why that is. Maybe because we don't celebrate birthdays. I'm not sure. But I haven't been writing in a diary. See, when you use a diary, like I sometimes don't even know what the date is because I used to write all the time. So when you write all the time, then you're aware of the date, you're aware of the time. There's a lot of things that I've chosen to make not important because part of my self-love process has been to simplify my life, like keep it as simple as I can within my brain and just focus on what I think's was priority for survival. So I'm sort of in survival mode. Well, I've been in survival mode most of my life, but most of my life I've had major dependence. Like now I've still got dependence of the animals, but this is a different type of dependency. Having children, human children, is quite different to having animals. For example, I went to work on Thursday and I left the dogs at home all day because now Zena's old enough to leave at home. You can't do that with kids, right? And I do volunteer work on Friday. Left the dogs at home with their bones, and you can't leave kids at home alone, right? So it's a different type of thing. And my dogs are safe, whereas my kids were not safe. Like they had people trying to hurt them. Pedophilia fathers or not fathers, but sperm donors or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. We just had a lot of danger in our life, like a lot of danger. And so it was it was hard to be in a purely self-loving time frame when you're in pure survival and you've got all these dependents. And I've gone on massive tangents here like I always do, but that's why when I start writing things down, because there's just so much to write about that I know resonates with many people. I know a lot of people have had very similar lives to mine, or similar enough, or even just a little bit of what I've gone through, and they go, all right, so you've gone from there and you've succeeded. Well, I'm here, I want to still succeed, and that's my intention. If we can reduce suffering, if we can get the suffering process because I know that my suffering process has been reduced significantly because of the amount of beautiful, loving, kind, supportive, genuine, consistent people in my life. And this happened the other day. Like some people I've known for over 20 years, they're still there in my life, or even longer. They're still there. Like this is consistent, and they're my family. And then what's even more amazing is my family is also growing, and we're growing together. So I've got these really healthy, authentic family connections, healthy, authentic friend connections. So what am I trying to say here? I keep being supported and guided and directed and taught and shown and great ways of stepping up, constantly stepping up, inwards and upwards, outwards. So, I say upwards, downwards, inwards and outwards. So I've got this amazing, beautiful tribe. I've got this exquisite amount of people, like so many people who just love me so much and care about me so much and have always seen my worth and have been working quite hard for me to see my own worth and for me to step up in my own sense of love. And then I've also done that for others. Like it's been a really reciprocal relationship, So it's been a very symbiotic. I've got a lot of relationships in my life where it's very symbiotic, where where the balance of give and take is really there. And I can tell you right now that sometimes there might be a couple of years of a break. One of my really good friends, we had 6 years of not being in connection because we're out of alignment during that 6 years. And I didn't know what was going to happen with that connection. But what I did know was that person was still in my heart. And then lo and behold, we come back into connection, and there's been all these learnings on both sides, and then we come closer and stronger. And that's where these true authentic bonds, these true authentic dynamics, these true authentic relationships that many of us have, the ones where it's a truly balanced, authentic one, the energy of that relationship will never go, even if you don't see that person for a long time. I've now come to the realization that when you really love someone and they're in you, they're in your heart, they're always with you. It doesn't matter if it's years since you see them, or even if you never see them again. On an energetic, there's the rain. On an energetic level, hang on, just got to get down this bankment. Hang on. Ouch. Oh. This is a big topic, everyone. I've just gone into a big topic. I just want to say about this self-love process, my self-love and my self-worth is really at where it is now, Zena, because I've got, because I'm open to receiving love. I'm open to receiving support. And I give love and give support. So that's why I say to my friends, if you really want me to trust you and give to you, you've also got to trust me, so it can be balanced and reciprocated. And said a fair bit, I don't know why. I know why, it's because I've got a headache. I'm actually finding it really hard to think. I thought I lost my keys for a second as well. So back to self-love today. Yesterday, I had a really big, hard day on my body. The day before, a big, hard day. I work and I do a lot of things with my body hurting and lots of pain. I have baths most nights with magnesium. I have my curcumin and my my iron and this and that, rah. But I just have to really be mindful of not pushing my body too hard. And today my body was aching so much. Like, it's aching right now. It's hard to walk up this hill. And I had to go for the walk with the dogs, which is really good because I've had my exercise for the day. But what I did do for most of the day was actually stay in bed. I was in bed for most of the day, and I did not feel guilty at all. And it's okay, Nadina, because this is all about my learning about self-love. And I have shared this with you all quite a few times about, it was the churchy people that helped me. Alvin, come on. It was actually the churchy people that actually helped me realise that, sorry, hang on, wait, they're muddy, hang on, they're muddy, I don't want them to, okay, in the back, get them, in they get, so what I tried to do then, if you want to know, was get Zena not to go on my towel, but she did anyways. Trying to keep this car clean is so funny. At Op Shop, you'll see I've got this doona here. I got that for free from the Op Shop yesterday because I do Op Shop duty on Fridays, and the lady was going to throw it out because it's got too many stains on it. I said, no, I really need bedding. So I must say, and that kettle, she was going to throw this kettle out because it's got no whistle thing on the top and no one wants it. So no, I'll use that as a watering can. I love this recycling process of working at the Op Shop, and love helping people. So we're in the car right now. I'm not going to talk for too long because the dogs will probably want to get going soon. But what I want to say is this self-love process does involve knowing that, like, oh, that's right, these days where we just relax, that's called restoration. And restoration is not lazy. And I've had to learn, it's been a really hard journey for me to learn the importance of restoration, but also the importance of saying no to someone if I have to. That's actually what I was going to talk about today, and it didn't even happen. I'll do that next time. You know, that boundaries, you know, if you really can't do something, you say no. I've been talking to lots of people about this lately. There's a lot of people I know. I'm just wondering where my sunnies went. I think I've lost my sunnies. Oh no. I think they fell out of my pocket when I was sitting on that bankment. Anyways, just want to say that I've had so many people sharing these stories with me lately. I know this is where God wants me to be, but I've always been someone that people just felt like they could talk to and say anything to. And sometimes they did it without, actually in the past they would do it without asking my consent if I wanted to even hear it. But what I've noticed is more and more people are learning the skill, or I'm sharing them the skill of checking if I'm in the space to be able to hear it. People are telling me stories, quite harrowing stories. And it's really, really interesting because just in this last couple of weeks, I just said to one of my friends, whoa, I never used to be this assertive. I'll have to put the phone up to do it. It might alarm you, but this person was talking the other day. Okay, there's this suicidal young man, right? I'm at this person's home. I'm actually painting her house, getting paid to paint her, or to renovate her house, but do lots of things. But this particular job was I was renovating one of the rooms. And she had a man that she's been helping out. He's suicidal. And she said, so-and-so's going to come around. And I said, yeah, no worries. And then when the other person was around, he kept trying to talk to me. And I said, I'm actually working and I've got lots to do and I've got to get home by a certain time. Now, in the past, I would have just gone, and I would have listened and I would have listened and I would have listened. And then I would have gotten home really, really, really late, or I wouldn't have got as much done in the day. But I basically said to him, look, I'm really sorry this has happened to you and I really care. I'm actually here working. I'm actually here to do a job. I said, we can talk more at lunchtime if you like. And that's a very kind thing to say to someone, because I'm not actually listening to him when I'm not there actually listening. And what I said wasn't rude, it's assertive. And this being assertive process is something that's quite new for me. And I was saying to some people yesterday, the day before, I keep saying to them, they tell me a story about where they didn't honour themselves, or where they said yes when they meant no. And I said, why? Because I know that's what I've been doing. And I've been having all these conversations, really honest conversations with people, but straight to the point. Why are you saying yes to something when you want to say no? What is underneath that? And there's this sense of not firmness with my voice, but sort of like boof, boof, boof. And they go, oh, well, and it's like someone says to me, quite a few people say to me, Nadina, thank you so much. And it's like, what words can I use? I mean, I've been hearing these words a lot throughout most of my life. People saying, you're such a good listener, or you helped transform my life. I'm very mindful that dogs not wanting to be in the car for too long, so I'm talking a bit fast. But I think she's okay, actually. They had a big run. But it's just such a big topic as well. There they are, see? Off the clean doona, even though it's got stains on it. And what I want to do is get more formal about my chats, because seriously, once I start, I find it's like, we could, sorry. Sorry about that. Well, that's it. I just think once I start, we could do it in chapters and stuff. Sorry, the phone fell off the dash. Once we start, there's so much to discuss and unpack, and they're such big topics and they're such important topics. And that's why I find that I'll often be in these conversations with people, and 2 or 3 hours go by and go, whoa, how did all that time go by? Well, 43 minutes has just gone by already, and we haven't even really delved into anything deeply. And that's why it's so important to have these regular conversations about these really important topics. And they're simple topics. But one of the things I've come to realize is, and I've had all these people say to me lately, thank you so much, because every time we have a conversation, I learn something new. I feel more empowered, and I'll say, well, I feel really supported. I feel really like life is on purpose, and it's given me a grounding process, because when I have authentic relationships with people, that grounds me, because I can't stand inauthenticity. Can't stand all that pathetic game playing that so many people play. I can see right through it, and I always have. And I used to sit there and I used to be silent about it, and either remain in an environment that was draining me because it was so superficial, or I would literally want to say something to try to change it and transform it to something a bit more meaningful, but silence myself, thinking, well, what words can I use that these people would even understand? So silence myself, and then blah, 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 lots of different stories like that, which I know you all have, and a lot of you have, and that's not self-love. That's not self-love. And so what I've been doing in my life is either being alone or around authentic people. A lot of the reasons why I'm creating such an authentic network is because I'm being authentic myself, and that basically is like a what do you call it, like a placard saying, I I only do authentic communication. If you wish to interact with me, let's have an amazing adventure. If you choose not to, God's blessings. So rather than whiffle waffle around and do the sort of the initial sort of, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, so with that guy the other day, that suicidal guy at my client's house, I said to him, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I'd love to hear more of your story when the time's right." So I basically let him know, I care about you. I want to know about your story, but it's got to be when the time is right. And he smiled and he said, "That will be wonderful." And he got it. He didn't feel disrespected. He was like, "Thank the Lord, I've met someone authentic." And I said, "This journey that you're going through is a really challenging journey. God has brought you into my life and this other lady's life and all the other people who you're meeting right now's lives because you are meant to be alive, and you do have a purpose on this planet, and God is bringing you your support network. I have my support network." Look at Alvin. Look at Zena. It's all right. I've got the window open, so it's not hot. But basically, this is the type of conversations I've been having with everyone now, and it's so exciting because I go out and I'm coming home not depleted. I used to, whenever I was around people, I would come home depleted. I'd actually feel exhausted. But now I'm not worried about saying what it is that I need to look after myself. And that's what all these other people do who are so kind and good to themselves, who have self-love. They've got good, healthy boundaries. And that's what God wants for us, good, healthy, godly, self-loving boundaries. Let's leave it at that. We'll keep talking about it more. This topic of self-love is huge. It is why my YouTube channel first got created. It's all about self-love, self-honor, self-love, staying alive, authentic communication, support systems, blah, 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 things we've discussed many a time over. And this is the most key topic of our society. Honesty, authentic communication. Phone's about to go flat. Authentic communication, honesty, and true connection and true support systems, true kindness, true compassion. But bottom line, authenticity, kindness, love, honesty. These are this is what God wants us to do for ourselves and for everyone around us. All right, God bless. I'll leave it at that. And we'll chat again soon. All right, lots of love. Bye. Keep well. 369 Tribe and godly children of God. Love you all. Keep well. Bye.